Before a common fly eats our food or tastes the soup that is in our plate or tastes the porridge that is in our cup, have you ever known that a fly first vomits what it is in its stomach before it starts feeding? That one tells you, if this fly had fed on human fecal waste, then it will vomit into your food before eating it. The purpose of vomiting whatever is in the stomach, it's because it usually salivates. It puts its saliva in the food so that it can soften for it to be able to pick. Hello my friends and great people, thank you so much for tuning into this channel. As we agreed earlier that it is going to be our brother's keeper, and we will continue to be our brothers and sisters keeper until we become wealthy in health. And so this day I want us to learn something little. We just enlighten ourselves on how some of these transmissions that trouble us in the community, they are transmitted, and how easily they are to be prevented. Can you imagine something like diarrhea? It is very easy to control diarrhea, but we find ourselves getting the attacks of diarrhea, the outbreaks of cholera, just because of just as simple steps that we fail to put in place. And let me tell you, once we put these simple steps in place, you will not believe it, that we can be free from infections all around the community. So one of the things that we need to understand is that diarrhea is usually transmitted by a bacteria, and especially something like cholera, it is transmitted from alimentary canal of a human being by a bacteria called Vibrio cholerae. This Vibrio cholerae, it can die so easily, and hot water, like hot food, even they cannot withstand the soap. So once we wash our hands with soap, can you imagine that we are able to deal with Vibrio cholerae? It dies instantly. If we boil the drinking water, it cannot survive under harsh conditions. They get into our bodies through ingestion. Once we drink contaminated water or we eat contaminated food, then we are victims of getting the cholera. I don't know whether you have ever understood that a common fly is the worst enemy of our health. What do I mean? The incubation period of a common fly is very short. And so whether you understand that before a common fly eats our food or tastes the soup that is in our plate or tastes the porridge that is in our cup, have you ever known that a fly first vomits what it is in its stomach before it starts feeding? That one tells you, if this fly had fed on human fecal waste, then it will vomit into your food before eating it. The purpose of vomiting whatever is in the stomach, it's because it usually salivates. It puts its saliva in the food so that it can soften for it to be able to pick. Once we understand that it must vomit in our food before feeding on it, then we need to make flies our worst enemy. Keep our food covered. Make sure that the food that is in the leftover foods is covered. Then make sure that you cover the food as you cook. The other thing that you need to do is put the food in the cupboard so that we may avoid the flies from vomiting to our food before eating. Thank you so much. I believe the preventive measures. We must boil our drinking water. or we treat our drinking water with chlorine, then we need to eat hot food, prevent ourselves from the transmission of cholera. I don't know, I have enlightened you, and have a blessed time, and let's meet in the next video. God bless you.